Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Outside, the art and science of watch collection. Today is going to be a little different. I guess they're all different. The What I wanted to do is sort of the whole notion of not exactly a grail watch, but a dream watch. In other words, this is something, boy, I would, finding something I'd really like to have. I don't have the money for it, but maybe if something comes along, something will be at a good price and I'll snatch it up. These are sort of a dream watch. And the reason I think this is important, well, I guess maybe it's not important, but it's fun. It's something to do. Is that you have something, you're going along, you're looking at Chrono 24, you're looking at eBay, you're just sort of looking around different places. And you're in your mind, there's something that is a possibility. Maybe you have a little extra money, maybe you got some tax return or whatever, and you see a watch that is really worth a lot to you. That's what I'm saying is a dream watch. It's this kind of watch, man, I can wear that watch anywhere, and everyone is going to know this is a good watch. Especially collectors will know, but other people can see this thing and say there's something special about that. Anyway, speaking of special watches, I have on my Lange Frederick II. Hello. All right, let's get started. I want to start with Audemars Piguet, and the watch that seems to come up again and again as in the affordable range is the Jules Audemars. And these two that I found, both of these are pre-owned prices, and they're not too far from new. And I got a feeling either one of these could drop a lot in price. Now, the first one is a dual time, and it's 36 millimeters. One thing about Audemars Piguet, some of the more affordable ones from the early 2000s are relatively small. Now, 36 millimeter is, at least for someone with a wrist my size, 7.5 inches, I think, that's about it. That's about the lower limit. The other one is a Jules Audemars chronograph. Now, usually when you think of chronograph, you think of Audemars Piguet. The only thing you think of is a Royal Oak. But this one I think is a very cool one. It's a very clean watch. And I like both of these. But these are the kind of things that say, boy, that's a wonderful watch. I could wear that thing a whole lot. That's the kind of watch. This is how I feel about this one. It's my Lange. This watch is a great. It's not ostentatious, but anybody who knows about watches knows it's a good watch. All right, so let's go on, see some more of these. Now, the second one I found, and this is one that's sort of circling around my own head, is Urban Jürgensen. And the one that I liked was called the Big 8. And it's an interesting watch. It's 40 millimeters. And the one I found was $14.22. I think it was a new price on it in stainless steel. That's one thing. Urban Jürgensens are fairly expensive watches. All of these watches, by the way, brand new, are all under 20. But I try to get them way under that too. I mean, to make them realistic at some point, that you just happen to have some money with you and you say, boy, this would be a nice thing to get a watch with. Or somebody who's got a lot of money wants to get you a gift. This one I like a lot. In the ad for it that Urban Jürgensen had, they said it was an upgraded caliber FP 1160, which is a Frederick Piguet. Now, what does it mean to be upgraded? Well, it could be that big gold rotor they put on it. But one of the things I found out that FP 1160 was a 3 hertz, and the one on this Urban Jürgensen was a 4 hertz. So they must have done a lot to it. I mean, it wasn't, simply a matter of giving it a different paint job. So this is one of the other things. And Patek Philippe is an old and very well respected watchmaker that became Blancpain manufacturer. They renamed it. Long and interesting story about that company. Okay, so that's another one I have. Boy, I tell you, man, that would be a cool watch to have. I mean, not just another cool watch, but a seriously cool watch, a dream watch. All right, now Patek Philippe is not too surprisingly would have a lot, and the three I picked out were there. Two of them were new prices, and one of them was originally, the Gondolo on the left was originally $35,000. Now, what happened this recently is that for the men's watches, Patek Philippe dropped all the Gondolo. They don't have Gondolos anymore, and it happened to be a style that I like. Not everybody likes them, obviously. Otherwise, I don't think it would have been dropped by Patek Philippe, but they were. And there was one, I think it's a 5124 over on the far right, that I like a lot. And that's one I'm always keeping an eye out for. Somebody's got one, they're having a hard time selling it, so they dropped the price on it. One I like to look at a lot. So a couple gondolos there that I like. The one on the left, I never liked that one until recently, and now I just think, God, that would be such a cool watch to have. Now, in the middle is one, it's a fairly popular one, the Aquanaut. And the problem with the Aquanaut, they're hard to get. That's a list price from Patek Philippe, $18,990, $19,000. And it's got a rubber strap on it. It's a very cool watch. So the people think of the Nautilus all the time as sort of a grail watch, but this is a pretty cool watch too, and it's one that I always scan for. So that's another sort of dream watch to be a cool one to have. Now, one of my favorite brands is Parmigiani Fleurier, and both of the ones that I have here are gold versions. That's another kind of dream watch. A lot of people don't have a gold watch and say, gee, it'd be awfully nice to have a gold watch. I don't have one. And it would be. I mean, either one of these things, you could wear this in a sort of a coat and tie type of situation where you're not trying to show off, but on the other hand, you're showing your watches. And the Toric chronomet is a chronometer, and the Tonda 1950 is just sort of a classic looking kind of watch that you see in Patek Philippe Calatrava, or you see it in Vacheron Constantin Patrimony. Nice solid watch. Both of those have their own movement. That's the other thing about Parmigiani I like. You're not going to find the same movement in every watch. They have different ones. The one with the top up there is called the PF702, has a mini rotor. The one at the bottom has that beautiful rotor with the what they call barleycorn pattern on this great big old solid gold 22 karat gold rotor. Now, Vacheron Constantin is a brand I've always liked. And one of the things about Vacheron Constantin, ever since Patek Philippe had a falling out with the people who make the Geneva seal, most of them have been going to Vacheron Constantin. Now, most of the dream watches are ones that they have this. The new 56s, the entry level ones, I think they cost about 11,000 new. That's the list price. They are not Geneva seal. They're made the Val Fleurier. Both of these have a neat movement called a caliber 4400. It's a manual wind, And it's a very versatile movement. This one in my 1921 American 1921 has that. So this is another one. Here's the Historiques Triple Calendar, which I really like and think is going to drop in price. And then the other one is Traditional Manual Wine. Both of these I like a lot. This next two is Breguet. And Breguet, I've always liked Breguet. I've never gotten one. I've never really had a hankering for one. But I've come to, these are two that I like a lot, especially their tradition. The tradition, it has a retrograde. It's got sort of this old Abraham Breguet, what was part of he had a subscription watch. And the tradition was sort of modeled after that, the subscription watches that Breguet had. And on the back, you have that unusual looking rotor that looks like some kind of guillotine or something. But that's to me, I'd be looking at that a lot, just because it's interesting. And the Classique is well named. It's 40 millimeter. 12,686 was what I found on that one. Now, again, this is a gold watch. That is, the price of gold is sort of crazy right now. So, maybe you're looking for a gold watch. This would be a neat one. The thing I like so much about this watch, the Classique, is notice that the small seconds aren't at 6 o'clock. They're about between the 5 and the 6. They're about 5:30. I really like that little offset they have. I know it drives some people crazy. Not me. I think it's really unique, very cool. Now, another brand I talk about a lot is H. Moser at sea. And Moser, their newer ones, have really dropped the price significantly, and they've done something I think that's interesting. They have the Pioneer Center Seconds. They have that beautiful green one. They have them in different colors, and I like green, so I use that one. But notice that they have a textile band on there. Now, you think, well, $11,000, $12,000 watch, stainless steel. That's a lot of money. How come they're putting on a cheap band? I think one of the reasons is that there is such a hassle when you buy it in the United States. If you buy a European watch and it has a perfectly legal gator band on there, it's going to get held up at customs, and they're going to go, it doesn't have the right size paper, this or that. So it's just a lot easier to stick on a textile band. Then if you want a gator band, you can put one on yourself. Not rocket science. The Venture Big Date is another one I like. A nice solid gold one. They had one something like that. If you look around, you can find some really good bargains on that. On some of these older H. Mosers. And that one is just sort of a classic looking watch no matter where you go. Having an H. Moser, I got this guy right here. This one was a heck of a buy, just a huge, great buy, and it's not anymore. Doggone thing, I paid about $8 for it, and the thing is shot up to $25. Originally, it was 30 something, I think. And then they quit making them because they were too complex. And they just said they were only going to make a few because of they had the same kind of complexity they set up as a tourbillon for the double hairspring. But then people said, wow, that'd be cool to have a double hairspring. So the price went back up. Anyway, these are the kinds of things. This is the kind of thing I'm sort of thinking about. You never know when something's going to drop. You never know. Sometimes the guy selling it doesn't know what he's doing. Sometimes they just want to get rid of it no matter what. Be ready. This is what this whole notion is. Just sort of all the time, sort of looking boom when you see one. This final one that I have is another brand that is really, really something. Lange Söhne. Now here are two that I found. One's called the Saxonia Thin, and that one's 37 millimeter. That's one of the things about the Lange is that sometimes they're pretty small, and 37 is, like I said, this is sort of the lower limit for me. 38, 39, those are in the sweet spot more for, at least for someone like myself. Other people like them smaller, and if you like them smaller, if you don't mind 36 and below, boy, there's some good bargains. And one of the best places to find them is with one I mentioned first was the Audemars Piguet Jewels Audemars. You can find some great deals on that. The same thing is true with the Lange. The two that I found to be the best prices, and again, they're classy watches. You can walk in anywhere with one of these things on, and people know you. That's the 1815. Anyway, of course, I'd really like to hear what you guys have to say, what your opinion is, and maybe some other ones. Now, these aren't exactly the same as a Grail watch. They are and they aren't. It's sort of like man, if I had one good watch, I got 5 G-Shocks and some other ones. And I really want something that no matter where I wear it, it's just like, boom, that is the kind of watch I want to have for that. And I think all of the ones I talked about today have that to some degree. And so anyway, like I said, I'd like to hear your opinion on it and what you think. And of course, this is an invitation to subscribe if you'd like. So until Sunday, when we have our next review, our collection review, it's Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the Art and Science Watch Collection.